Hello, I'm Dr. Robert Anderson, and for over 30 years, I've dedicated my career to geriatric medicine, helping seniors just like you navigate the complexities of aging with vitality and grace. Today, I need to have a frank conversation with you, one that might just be the most important one we'll ever have about your health. What if I told you that some of the foods you've been eating for years, foods that you might even consider harmless or part of a normal American diet, are actively sabotaging your efforts to manage your diabetes? What if the very things you believe are safe are secretly pushing your blood sugar to dangerous levels, draining your energy, and accelerating the complications we all want to avoid? It's a shocking thought, I know. We live in a world of confusing health advice, where one day a food is a hero, and the next, it's a villain. Many of my patients come to my clinic in Scottsdale, Arizona, feeling frustrated and defeated. They tell me, "Dr. Anderson, I'm trying my best. I'm taking my medication. I'm trying to walk a little more, but my numbers are still out of control. I feel tired all the time and I'm scared." The fear is real. It's the fear of losing independence, of neuropathy, of vision problems, or worse. The common myth is that managing type 2 diabetes in your golden years is solely about cutting out sugar from your coffee or skipping dessert. That's a piece of the puzzle, but it's a dangerously incomplete picture. The truth is far more nuanced. There are silent saboteurs lurking in your pantry, your refrigerator, and on the menus of your favorite restaurants. These are foods that masquerade as benign but are, in fact, fueling the fire of inflammation and insulin resistance. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to pull back the curtain on 7 of these dangerous food categories. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about empowerment. It's about giving you the knowledge to make conscious, life-affirming choices. We're not just going to talk about what to stop eating. We're going to discuss the delicious, satisfying, and powerful foods you should be eating instead. This is your guide to reclaiming your energy, stabilizing your blood sugar, and truly thriving with diabetes. The first and arguably most destructive category we must address is sugary beverages. This seems obvious, but its danger is vastly underestimated. I'm not just talking about the classic sodas like Coke or Pepsi. I'm talking about the entire spectrum of sweetened drinks, sweet iced tea, lemonade, sports drinks like Gatorade, and what many believe to be the healthiest of the bunch, fruit juice. A patient of mine, a wonderful 68-year-old gentleman from Phoenix named John, was struggling with his morning blood sugar readings. They were consistently over 100 under the 80 merches DL. He swore he was eating a healthy breakfast. When we dug into his routine, we found the culprit, a 12-ounce glass of all-natural, no sugar added orange juice. He thought he was doing something good for his body, getting his vitamin C. The problem is, when you drink juice, you're consuming all the sugar from several oranges in a matter of seconds, with none of the natural fiber that would normally slow its absorption. That glass of orange juice was hitting his system like a sugar bomb, sending his glucose on a massive, immediate spike. The old way of thinking was, a little juice is fine, it's from fruit. That is a dangerous fallacy for a diabetic senior. Your body, especially as it ages and becomes more insulin resistant, cannot handle that rapid influx of pure fructose and glucose. It's like pouring gasoline on the fire of your diabetes. This surge in blood sugar forces your pancreas to work overtime to produce insulin if it still can, and over time, this relentless demand worsens insulin resistance. This leads to that classic energy crash an hour or two later, brain fog, intense cravings for more sugar, and over the long term, contributes directly to nerve damage, kidney issues, and cardiovascular disease. A single 12-ounce can of soda contains nearly 10 teaspoons of sugar. A glass of apple juice can have just as much. There is no nutritional upside that can possibly justify that metabolic damage. The solution is simple and immediate. The single most impactful change you can make today is to eliminate these beverages, replace them with water. I know, water can seem boring. So let's make it exciting. Get a large pitcher and create your own spa water. Add slices of lemon, lime, cucumber, and a few sprigs of mint. It's refreshing, hydrating, and has zero impact on your blood sugar. Unsweetened iced tea, black or herbal, is another fantastic choice. If you miss the fizz of soda, switch to sparkling water or club soda. You can add a squeeze of fresh lemon or lime, or even a couple of crushed berries for a hint of flavor. John, my patient, switched his morning orange juice for a large glass of water with lemon. Within 1 week, his morning blood sugar readings were down by 30 points. He felt more energetic and less hungry throughout the morning. It was a game changer. Next, we need to have a serious talk about the great white hazards: white bread, white rice, pasta, and most packaged crackers. These are staples of the American diet, the foundation of our sandwiches, the side to our chicken dinners, the comfort food we've turned to our entire lives. A 72-year-old patient, Mary, who lives in a retirement community in Sun City, told me, "But Dr. Anderson, I switched to wheat bread, BEX." When I asked to see the loaf, the first ingredient listed was still enriched wheat flour. This is the core of the problem. These foods are made from refined grains that have been stripped of their bran and germ, the parts that contain all the fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What's left is pure, simple starch. Your digestive system breaks down this starch into glucose almost as quickly as it would break down table sugar. So, that sandwich on white bread or that side of white rice at dinner is having nearly the same effect on your blood sugar as that can of soda we just discussed. The old way of thinking was that carbs are carbs, and as long as you watched your portion sizes, it was okay. We now know this is incorrect. The quality of the carbohydrate is paramount. These refined carbs cause a rapid spike and subsequent crash in blood sugar, perpetuating a vicious cycle of hunger, cravings, and fat storage, particularly dangerous belly fat, which is highly inflammatory. They provide empty calories with little to no nutritional value, leaving you feeling unsatisfied and prone to overeating later. This roller coaster is exhausting for your body and your spirit. The solution is to trade up. You don't have to eliminate carbohydrates, but you must choose the right ones. Swap white bread for 100% whole grain bread, where the first ingredient is whole wheat flour or whole grain. Look for bread with at least 3 to 5 grams of fiber per slice. Instead of white rice, try brown rice, quinoa, or wild rice. These are packed with fiber that slows down digestion and provides a much gentler, slower release of glucose into the bloodstream. A fantastic and affordable alternative is to incorporate more legumes like lentils and beans. They are high in both protein and fiber, making them incredibly stabilizing for blood sugar. Mary started by making one simple switch. She replaced the white crackers she had with her afternoon cheese with whole grain seed crackers. Then, she moved on to using lettuce wraps for her sandwiches. The difference in her energy levels was astounding, and her A1C, a measure of long-term blood sugar control, dropped by a full point in 3 months. If you are finding this information helpful and it's making you rethink some of your food choices, I'd love to know. Just take a moment to type the number 1 in the comments section below. If you feel this isn't hitting the mark for you, please type a 0. Your feedback is incredibly valuable and helps me create better, more useful content for this community. Let's move on to the third danger zone, a place many people mistakenly believe is healthy, the breakfast aisle. I'm talking specifically about most packaged breakfast cereals, instant oatmeal packets, and granola bars. They are marketed with words like heart healthy, whole grain, and fortified with vitamins, but this is often a health halo hiding a nutritional disaster. These products are frequently loaded with staggering amounts of sugar. A bowl of Frosted Flakes or Honey Nut Cheerios can contain more sugar than a donut. Even the healthy options, like instant maple and brown sugar oatmeal, are often pre-sweetened and highly processed, causing them to behave just like the white bread we talked about. A patient named Susan, a 75-year-old retired teacher from Minneapolis, was doing everything right, or so she thought. She exercised, she ate salads for lunch, but she started every single day with a bowl of granola, thinking it was the healthiest choice. When we examined the nutrition label, we found that her healthy granola had 18 grams of sugar per small serving, and she was pouring herself at least double the recommended serving size. She was essentially starting her day with a dessert. The old approach was to trust the marketing on the front of the box. The industry is brilliant at making you believe their products are beneficial. The reality is that starting your day with a high-sugar, low-fiber meal is the worst possible thing you can do for your diabetes management. It sets you up for a day of blood sugar instability and cravings. That sugar rush first thing in the morning guarantees a crash by 10 a.m., leaving you reaching for another high-carbohydrate snack to pick you back up, and the cycle continues. The solution here is to completely rethink breakfast. Breakfast should be centered around protein and healthy fats, which promote satiety and have a minimal effect on blood sugar. Think 2 or 3 eggs, scrambled or as an omelet with spinach and mushrooms. Eggs are a nutritional powerhouse and do not negatively impact cholesterol for most people, contrary to old beliefs. Another excellent option is plain, full-fat Greek yogurt. Be very careful here, not the flavored, low-fat versions which are packed with sugar. Plain Greek yogurt is high in protein. You can add a handful of fresh berries, like blueberries or raspberries, which are low glycemic, a sprinkle of cinnamon, and a few chopped nuts or chia seeds for fiber and healthy fats. For Susan, the switch was transformative. She swapped her morning bowl of sugar-laden granola for a bowl of plain Greek yogurt with a few blueberries and walnuts. She reported not only that her morning blood sugar was stable, but that she was no longer ravenous by mid-morning. She felt full and focused until lunchtime for the first time in years. The fourth category to remove from your diet immediately is processed meats. This includes favorites like bacon, sausage, hot dogs, and most deli meats you find at the grocery store counter, such as bologna and salami. These are foods many of us grew up with. They're quick, convenient, and flavorful, but the convenience comes at a steep price. A 78-year-old veteran named George, who I see at the VA hospital, loved his morning sausage patties and his lunchtime turkey sandwich on wheat bread. He considered turkey a lean, healthy meat. However, the processed turkey breast he was buying was injected with salt, sugar, and chemical preservatives like nitrates. These meats are fundamentally different from fresh, unprocessed meat. They are often high in unhealthy saturated fats, which can worsen insulin resistance and contribute to heart disease, the #1 risk for people with diabetes. The issue isn't just the fat content, it's the sheer amount of sodium and preservatives. A diet high in sodium raises blood pressure, a dangerous combination with diabetes, significantly increasing your risk for stroke and kidney disease. Furthermore, the nitrates and nitrites used to preserve these meats and give them their color have been linked to inflammation and can interfere with the body's ability to process sugar effectively. The old thinking was, a little bit won't hurt. So, but for a senior with diabetes, whose body is already under metabolic stress, the cumulative effect of these inflammatory foods is significant. The solution is to prioritize fresh, unprocessed proteins. Instead of sausage patties for breakfast, have the eggs we discussed. Instead of a processed deli turkey sandwich, buy a fresh chicken or turkey breast, roast it at home at the beginning of the week, and slice it yourself for sandwiches. It's far cheaper, and you have complete control over the ingredients. For your sandwich, use that 100% whole grain bread and load it up with lettuce, tomato, and avocado instead of high-sodium condiments. Other excellent protein sources include fish, particularly fatty fish like salmon, which is rich in anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids. George was initially resistant to giving up his favorite meats, but he agreed to try for 2 weeks. He switched to roasted chicken in his sandwiches and saved bacon for a very occasional treat rather than a daily staple. He not only saw an improvement in his blood sugar, but also a noticeable drop in his blood pressure readings. The fifth group of foods to be extremely cautious of is fried foods. This means French fries, fried chicken, potato chips, and donuts. These foods are often cooked in unhealthy industrial seed oils, like corn, soybean, or cottonseed oil, that are high in inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. When these oils are heated to high temperatures, they can form harmful compounds, including trans fats, even if the label says zero trans fat. Food manufacturers are allowed to round down to 0 if the amount per serving is less than 0.5 grams. Trans fats are a poison to your system. They raise your bad, LDL cholesterol, lower your good, HDL cholesterol, increase inflammation, and significantly worsen insulin resistance. A patient of mine named Brenda, aged 70, from Mesa, had a weekly routine of meeting her friends at a local diner for a fish and chips lunch. It was her social highlight, but it was wreaking havoc on her health. The combination of the starchy, deep-fried potatoes and the battered, deep-fried fish was sending her blood sugar soaring for hours, and the inflammatory oils were making her arthritis pain worse. The old way of thinking was that frying was just another way of cooking, but we now understand that it's perhaps the most damaging method. It adds a huge number of calories to food without adding any nutritional value, promoting weight gain. For a diabetic senior, these foods represent a triple threat: a blood sugar spike from the starchy coating or potato, a dose of inflammatory oils, and a high calorie count that makes weight management incredibly difficult. The solution is to embrace different cooking methods. You can achieve a wonderful crispiness without deep frying. Invest in an air fryer. They work by circulating hot air and can make chicken, fish, and even potatoes crispy with just a teaspoon of healthy oil like olive or avocado oil. Baking on a wire rack in the oven can also create a similar effect. Instead of French fries, try making fries from sweet potatoes, in moderation, zucchini or carrots, tossed in a little olive oil and spices and baked until crisp. Brenda and her friends decided to change their routine. They started meeting for lunch at a place that offered grilled salmon salads. She still got to enjoy her social time, but she left feeling energized and healthy, not bloated and fatigued. She bought an air fryer and now makes delicious fried fish at home with a light almond flour coating, which has become a new, healthier tradition. If this is resonating with you and you can think of a friend or family member who needs to hear this message, please consider sharing this with them. You could be making a profound difference in their health and well-being. Let's keep going. The sixth category of dangerous foods is one that's incredibly broad: most packaged snacks and sweets. This covers the obvious culprits like cookies, cakes, and pastries, but also the more insidious snacks like granola bars, which we've mentioned, fruit-flavored yogurts, and many types of crackers. These items are the epitome of ultra-processed foods. They are engineered by food scientists to be hyper-palatable, meaning they hit the bliss point in our brains with the perfect combination of sugar, unhealthy fat, and salt, making them almost addictive. A 73-year-old patient, David, from right here in Scottsdale, had a habit of having a few cookies with his afternoon coffee. He thought, it's only 2 or 3, what's the harm? But those 2 or 3 cookies were made with refined white flour, high fructose corn syrup, and hydrogenated oils. They were calorically dense but nutritionally empty, providing a quick burst of energy followed by a harsh crash, leaving him feeling sluggish and irritable. The old way of thinking was to focus on calories in, calories out. As long as you didn't eat the whole box, you were fine. But the problem with these foods isn't just the calories, it's the hormonal chaos they create. They spike your blood sugar and insulin, promoting fat storage and inflammation. They offer nothing in the way of fiber, vitamins, or minerals your body needs to function. They are, quite literally, anti-nutrients. The solution is to plan your snacks and redefine what a treat is. A treat should be something that is both delicious and nourishing. Excellent snack options for a diabetic senior include a handful of raw almonds or walnuts, an apple with a tablespoon of peanut or almond butter, celery sticks with hummus, a hard-boiled egg, or that plain Greek yogurt we discussed earlier. These snacks provide a combination of fiber, protein, and healthy fats that will stabilize your blood sugar and keep you full and satisfied between meals. David replaced his afternoon cookies with a handful of almonds and a few squares of very dark chocolate, 85% cacao or higher, which is low in sugar and high in antioxidants. He found that his afternoon energy slump disappeared, and he was no longer craving sweets after dinner. Finally, the seventh and most deceptive category is what I call health halo foods. These are foods that have a reputation for being healthy, but are often loaded with hidden sugars that can be just as damaging as a candy bar. The two biggest offenders are flavored, low-fat yogurts and dried fruit. We've already touched on yogurt, but it bears repeating. When manufacturers remove fat from a product like yogurt, they remove its flavor and texture. To compensate, they pump it full of sugar, corn syrup, or artificial sweeteners. A single container of fruit on the bottom yogurt can have 20-30 grams of sugar. That's more than a Snickers bar. Dried fruit is another major trap. People think, it's fruit, it must be healthy. But the drying process removes all the water, concentrating the sugar into a very small, dense package. A small box of raisins contains the sugar of a huge bunch of grapes. It's incredibly easy to overeat dried apricots, dates, or raisins, resulting in a massive sugar load with very little of the volume and water that would normally make you feel full. The old way of thinking was, fat-free is good, and all fruit is good. We now know that healthy fats are essential for our health, and that the form in which we consume fruit matters tremendously. The solution is to become a detective and read nutrition labels religiously. Ignore the marketing on the front and go straight to the ingredients list and the nutrition facts panel. Look at the added sugars line. Your goal is to keep this number as close to zero as possible. As we've discussed, choose plain, full-fat yogurt and add your own fresh fruit. When it comes to fruit, prioritize fresh, whole fruits. A whole apple, a peach, a bowl of berries. These contain water and fiber, which fill you up and slow the release of sugar. Think of dried fruit as candy, and use it as sparingly as you would use jelly beans. It can be used in very small amounts, perhaps a couple of chopped dates in a recipe, but it should never be eaten as a mindless snack. This knowledge empowers you to see past the marketing and make choices based on nutritional reality, not on a cleverly designed package. We've covered a lot of ground today, unmasking the 7 saboteurs that may have been holding your health hostage. Sugary drinks, refined white carbs, sugary breakfast foods, processed meats, fried foods, packaged snacks, and the health halo fakes. I want you to take a moment and let this sink in. This is not about deprivation. This is about a powerful exchange. You are not just giving up foods, you are trading them for something infinitely more valuable. You are trading fatigue for energy. You are trading brain fog for mental clarity. You are trading fear and uncertainty for control and confidence. You are trading a future of potential complications for a future filled with vitality, where you have the strength to play with your grandchildren, the stamina to travel, and see the places you've always dreamed of, and the well-being to enjoy every single precious day. There's a lesson in this that extends far beyond the food on your plate. It's about being an active participant in your own life. It's about questioning the status quo and not just accepting things as they are. It's about realizing that you, right now, have the power to make small, intelligent choices that compound over time into a radical transformation of your health and your life story. Managing diabetes is not a passive activity. It is an active, daily declaration that you are worth the effort. So here is my call to action for you today. Don't try to change everything at once. That's a recipe for overwhelm and failure. I want you to pick just one thing from this list that you will change this week. Maybe it's swapping your morning juice for water with lemon. Maybe it's trying an omelet instead of cereal for breakfast. Maybe it's roasting your own chicken for sandwiches instead of buying deli meat. Whatever it is, choose one and commit to it. I want you to do 3 things right now. First, go to the comment section below and tell me which one change you are going to make this week. Declaring it publicly makes it real and holds you accountable. I will read through as many of your comments as I can because I want to see you succeed. Second, if this information has been valuable to you, please subscribe to this channel and share this article with at least one person you care about. A friend, a sibling, a spouse. So many people are struggling in silence, and this information could be the lifeline they need. Finally, keep learning, stay curious, and be kind to yourself on this journey. You are building a healthier future, one meal at a time. Thank you for your time and your trust. I'm Dr. Robert Anderson, wishing you the very best of health.